your grandfather, right?
I am.
What's Rick Perry, the grandfather, like?
They have me wrapped around their finger, and you know that's 20 months and 21 days. So but they've got it figured out already. So it's great. It's awesome. They're life changing.
Have you changed any grandchild diapers?
I have not.
You have not. Have you been asked to?
No.
No. So I've sat next to you at a dinner, and I know people who know you. And I don't think this is a trivial topic, because a lot of presidential politics is about personality and people feel uncomfortable with people. And I find when I meet people who haven't met you, and even some who haven't, I ask them about you and your personality, they never list the traits that I would list about you and that the people who know you best would list. So I'm wondering whether you think in your public appearances, interviews, speeches, the real Rick Perry, I consider to be smart, funny, interesting, engaged, comes through or not.
You know, I can't answer that, but, you know, I know that people that I get to spend time with, you know, find me to be a person that they'd, you know, like to go hang out with, go fishing with, or drink a beer with, or whatever, you know, it is they'd like to do. And that, I think, is a good reflection of who I am. I probably, over the course of the years, put up a bit of a wall so that you know, you might have a harder time penetrating than somebody that I've known a long time.
Is there a way to get that wall out of the way from voters in Iowa and New Hampshire?
Yeah, and I think they see that now. I mean, we go often, and you know, folks have the real Rick Perry, is, you know, the Mark Halperns of the world like to refer to it. So yeah, I think we're doing fine. You go out there and spend time with people, and you talk about your family. You know, people didn't realize I grew up on a farm. I mean, people didn't know my background of, you know, 2 tenant farmers and growing up in a house that didn't have running water. And I mean, I think my life's experiences are pretty unique from the standpoint of all the folks that have kind of risen to the top to be prospective candidates in this process. And, you know, going off to public school and then volunteering to be in the Air Force and coming back and farming with my dad. All of those are life's experiences that really help, you know, develop who you are. And I mean, if there's a blue collar guy in the mix out there, I certainly make the cut.
One aspect of your bio you just mentioned, you have served in the military. The field is pretty much full with folks, or will be full with folks who haven't. Is that not a political advantage, but is it good for the country to have a commander-in-chief who served? You
know, from the standpoint of just being a line pilot in the United States Air Force, I think that's an important aspect of knowing what young families go through, whether it's the deployments, whether it's the stress and strain. I was at the end of the Vietnam War, and as we were rolling down from that, I see some comparables today as we're starting to hollow out the military and decisions that this administration makes. But also, having been a governor for 14 years and deploying our both Texas military forces and our National Guard to a host of different things. I mean, when the space shuttle falls out of the sky in East Texas, there's not a manual for that. You know, nobody wrote that and said, "Here you go, Governor, here's how you handle that." When Ebola comes on the shores of this country, it happens to be in your state, the hurricanes, Katrina, when we took in all of the people from Louisiana, all of those things really help develop your executive skills, if you will.
Are you more a Netanyahu guy or an Obama guy?
I think I would fall pretty squarely into the Netanyahu camp from the standpoint of his vision for Israel, his support for Israel, his understanding about Iran is a very, very troublesome country. And I think his clearly standing up, coming to the United States, laying out the defense of Israel, and I think, you know, being critical about this administration's negotiations with a country that is responsible for exporting terror around the world. I mean, these are the people who, our Marines in Beirut were killed by Iranian, at least Iranian dollars, and we know that weapons that were supplied into Iraq during the Iraq War were used to kill American soldiers. So I'm very strongly with Prime Minister Netanyahu when it comes to this issue of Israel, Israel's future, and peace in the Middle East.
You're not a big fan of flip-flopping. The Prime Minister seems to have changed his position now twice on a two-state solution being something he's for. Were you troubled at all by his pre-election position that he didn't support a two-state solution, and then post-election right away changing back and saying he did support a two-state solution?
I think he was talking about reality, and the reality is, in a perfect world, we'd love to see a two-state solution.
Right.
But the fact is, this is not a group of people. I mean, we've got Hezbollah, we've got Hamas, we've got ISIS now, we've got all of these pressures. So, you know, I don't consider it to be flip-flopping. I consider it to be him taking in reality, which is, in a perfect world, I'd love to see a two-state solution, but we don't live in a perfect world, so we got to deal with that.
Your fellow Texan, Ted Cruz, got in the race yesterday. Senator Paul said, I pretty much agree with Ted Cruz on most issues. What differentiates us is that I'm trying to appeal to a broader section of the electorate, younger people and some others, independents and even some Democrats who haven't voted for Republicans. How would you differentiate yourself from Senator Cruz?
I think they need to look at our record, and the record is an executive. Obviously, you made mention of a number of things of what were different about it. I mean, I had a different growing up experience than practically anyone that's considering
You ever
this.
been a Canadian citizen?
I have not.
So that'd be one difference.
I've been to Canada before.
Okay.
I think those experiences that you have as an executive are really important. And when it comes to this next election cycle, after this period of time of a young, inexperienced United States Senator in the form of Barack Obama, and then the challenges that we have both economically and foreign policy-wise, I think Americans are going to look at a seasoned. I tell people it's like getting on an airplane, and you're flying from New York City to London, and there's some pretty severe weather. Do you want a grizzled, 20,000-hour old captain in the left seat of that airplane that's done this thousands of times
And killed a snake.
and also been out there, been out there and done this, or do you want a really bright, capable, exciting lecturer that will have you on the edge of your seat in a classroom talking about aerodynamics and how an airplane flies and how all of this works?
All right, we're going to close with a rapid round. Your answers have to be no longer than 4 words. Ready? Have you ever killed a snake?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever had your own email server?
No.
No. Do you have more than 3 email addresses now?
No.
No. What is your favorite food to eat in Iowa?
Oh, man. I'm thinking
That's 2 words right
anything.
already. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Made right.
Made right. That's a good answer. What are your chances of being the next president of the United States if you decide to run?
If I decide...
Just give me the number.
Yes.
You better than 50-50 to win?
Yes.
Better than 75%?
Yes.
Better than 75%. Last question. Why is that so funny?
Because I expected you to go to 90
Down to
on
90.
the next one.
I decided that'd be cruel.
That would be.
Last question. What is the nicest thing you can say about Hillary Clinton? 4 words.
A committed public servant.
Governor Perry, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.